Well, she was a stalker. No. No, we met, we both wrote at neighboring publishing companies and kind of crossed paths that way, so.
I kind of did stalk him a little bit.
How's that?
I was friends with his song plugger, and I would go hang out in her office like every day until he would open the back door, and we knew it was him coming down the hall by the way his footsteps were, but he used to wear his keys on his belt, so he would jingle.
I was basically a janitor.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he loses his keys.
Yeah. I try to attach as many things to me as I can.
Or
so
he'll
I don't
lose
them.
He'll lose
Yeah.
them. That wasn't the point of the story, but
Yeah, no, not at all.
Anyway, that's what we did. That's how we hung out for a long time. And then he asked me if I wanted to write a song with him at 6:00 on Friday night. And we tried to write a song, and I think we just ended up making out like most of the night.
Basically, yeah.
And
We
here
went to
we are.
dinner.
We did go to dinner.
Yeah. And then we got married and had kids, and here we are. That's the short version.
I would say it's different every show, just because every show is different. You know, the crowds are different. But if I had to pick one, why is this always so hard?
I could pick one. And my favorite thing to do every night is I let her sing a song on the show, and she sings "You Are My Sunshine," and I get to have fun playing guitar and sing harmony. So the pressure's off, like as far as me singing the lead part, and I just get to have fun singing harmony and playing more guitar than I should. So that's my favorite thing to play every night.
I don't know that I can pick one. It's not that one, because I have to sing it. Yeah.
For a different reason.
Yeah.
The ones that I wrote, she made a list, and then Brian Wright at the label added a few to it. But we all got together in a room. But the bulk of the songs, 85-90% of them are songs that are off of the list that she compiled. Because I'm terrible at knowing things that, like, I write songs and I'm like, oh, I think that's good, but I'm not a good judge of that, I don't think. And so it's good to have people with good taste, and she has good taste in everything but men. So in October of 2013, I had a single down the radio of something that we had, kind of done speculatively to put out on the radio with a different producer, and didn't work, and died. And then my dad passed away the same month, and so it was one of those things where, where you kind of switch flips and you kind of re-examine life, and you're like, all right, what do I need to be doing? And I was in a bit of did a little bit of soul searching. She had the presence of mind to buy me an old Jeep because I like those kind of things, but I don't allow myself those things, except for maybe guitars every now and then.
A lot of guitars.
Yeah, well, a lot of guitars. But and we drove across the desert, and in a moment of clarity, I came back from that trip and just kind of figuring out what to do, and I heard about a half a song of Sturgill's new record. I don't remember what the song was or what it sounded like, the words or the instruments, but I remember the sound of it, the sonics of it, and I was like, who is the guy that made this record? And I look it up, and it's Dave Cobb. And so I hunted down Dave Cobb from that, and we got together in a room, and we have a lot of the same afflictions, guitars and gear, and geeking out on sounds, and it just really, he felt like he was somebody I've known for 20 years, and so it was a no-brainer for me to kind of get in the room and make a record for that guy. I don't know, it seemed like a good idea at the time. No, we were trying to look at a way to have a kind of a list. You go to a record release, an experience.
Yeah.
You go to a record release party or something like that, and it's, I don't want people to feel like they're in detention. Like they have to sit in a chair and be forced to listen to a record. And so I wanted to make it as much fun as I could. And what's something that we could do? Well, I thought maybe we basically had the whole record finished up to that point, and everybody listened to the record. We put headphones along the outside of the room. If they wanted to be real in it, they could listen through the headphones. And they just had tables, and we gave them alcohol. I didn't give anybody, nobody was forced to sit there and listen. They could hang out and talk to people, and however they wanted to approach the the listening, because I think that's how music is supposed to work. And then we got to the end of it and said, okay, well, we're going to record one more, and this is the end of the record, and here we go. And so we counted it off, and once again, they could have the headphones on and be there for that. And it seemed like a cool thing to do, you know, and it was something I planned on doing, and it got scarier up to the point of doing it. It was like, yeah, maybe, because you get one shot at it, and that was it. And so, but it worked out, and it was fun, and it wasn't that different from how we recorded most of the record anyway, you know.
Just had an audience.
We just had an audience there. So
I think for everybody in the room too, to get to be a part of the finished product of a record, I thought it was really cool.
The core of the band are guys, you know, the bass player, JT Cure, has been with me I've played music with him for almost 20 years, you know, on and off, and we're in bar bands together, and he's somebody I've known a long, long time, and so he's always played music with me. And then Derek Mixon, the drummer, is somebody that JT played with in the Kenny Vaughan Trio, and did some other gigs with and really liked. And so we got together and started playing, and I asked Derek if he wanted to play, and so we started. It was a touring band, and the same period of time that I kind of flipped this switch, you know, after my dad passed away, I kind of was trying to reinvent a little bit, and I got a new band. And originally we were a 5-piece. We had me and JT and Derek and a couple of the guys. I had a keys guy and a steel player, and Morgan singing with us. And we played for a couple of weeks in that configuration of shows, and then the same week, the steel player and the keys guy both said, you know, I'm going to quit and I'm going to get another gig or whatever. The steel guy was a prominent session guy. I didn't feel like being on the road anymore. And so here we had 3 gigs coming up that weekend. And I don't think you were going out at that point in time. Were you going?
I would not solidly go at that time.
Yeah, she wouldn't solidly go at that point in time. She would come when she felt like it and not other times. But
we have kids. I'm not that flaky. Yeah. Actually,
so I called the guys. I was like, well, Derek and JT, it's you know, there's 3 of us. You want to get together this week and see if we can get through it? And so we played as a 3-piece that weekend, and it really had a lot of fun. It put a lot more pressure on me and forced me to play a lot more guitar than I was normally comfortable with. But that became the core of the band. And you know, with Dave on acoustic, the way that we recorded the most of the record, that was the band. You know,
that was kind of a moment for you.
That was a moment
yeah.
When we had that weekend. That became a thing right then. You know, and then one of those happy accidents again, where if the other guys had stayed in the band, it would be a different record and all this other things. You know, but now, you know, Robbie Turner came and played steel overdub on the record, and now he's out here with us today. And you know, Mickey Raphael played harp on the record, who plays with Willie, and he comes and sits in with us sometimes. And you know, Dave Cobb hadn't played live on a stage in 13 years, and when we had the record release party in Nashville, he hopped up on stage and played acoustic, and he had so much fun. Every now and then he hops out and he plays with us. So it's very much it's a band mentality, and I like music made that way, and it's probably why I haven't ever made a solo record. You know, I really like bands. I think bands make better music. I think people.
It's like a family, though. It's
a
music family, really.
And I and nothing against the other process of hiring people out just because you like what they play, but there's not an amount of investment, and you can't understand each other musically. The musicianship.
It's a different amount of investment, I'd say.
Yeah. The musicianship that can happen on a stage that can translate into a studio setting is much different than, okay, I haven't played with you in a year or even ever on stage, but let's sit in a room and make a record. It's a little more pressure, and it's a little more rigid of a thing to do, you know, because you don't know each other as well. And when you know each other in a studio, it's the best scenario you can have, in my opinion. We only have so many songs, so it's not a complete variance.
I put a list together of how many songs.
No, it's like 20 or something.
No, it was 32,
Was it 30?
I
don't
think.
remember.
But some of them are covers, and you know, they're not all. Some of them are older things that he doesn't necessarily enjoy playing.
Which someday I might
Anymore.
again, but it's
Yeah.
it's just how it works. You know, you are where you're at when you're there.
That's kind of brilliant.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
I get starstruck at a lot of those older guys. You know, like the guys that were heroes. You know, Willie Nelson and Christopherson and
There.
you know Bobby Bear and you know I met Don Williams one time. I sang on a Don Williams record. You know, you meet guys like that, and it's just like, you know, contemporary guys. They're contemporary guys, but they're not the guys that influence you. You know,
Heroes are a big deal.
heroes are a big deal.
Yeah.
And when you get to meet those guys and it's a good experience, it's an even better deal, you know. You don't ever want to meet heroes if it's not a good experience, because then it ruins it for you. But,
Have I mostly had a good experience?
oh yeah, I don't think I have a bad one.
We met Christopherson, and he was a peach. He's so sweet.
Oh, really?
And Willie was
Yeah.
sweet. He's everything you'd expect him to be. Like,
It's great when you meet those guys and they're exactly who you want them to
they're nice guys.
be. Yeah.
Really nice guys.